That's him. I'm still just kind of like speechless.
Hi, I'm Ben Rising and welcome to Whitetail Edge. On this episode, we're going to follow along with my good buddy Andy Bogalski as he comes to Ohio and hunts with me here. He's the owner of Black Widow Deer Lures, and then we're going to jump in the Redneck Blind with my son Briar, who's 11 years old, and he's finally allowed to shoot a really good buck this year, and he gets it done. So stay tuned and hope you enjoy the show. These deer are kind of used to me on this farm, to be honest. It's weird. I don't even know how you explain that. But when I come to this farm, I pretty much do the same thing all the time. I come about the same time of day when I come. I try to wear the same shoes all the time. My work shoes, that's actually what I wear, is my work shoes. When I come and I do any kind of checking cameras or feeding or doing plots or anything, I wear my work shoes that I wear every day, just like a farmer would. And it just seems like those deer don't bother. It doesn't mess with them. You kind of get them tuned to you. And again, this is a secondary zone, so that's why, you know, if you've watched our show, you know I talk about secondary zones and field edges, anywhere the deer are used to encountering people or know that that's where equipment, tractors, people kind of are more so than deep in the woods. You can get away with a little more of this kind of stuff. There's no way I'd be walking 100 yards in this woods checking cameras all the time. No way I'd do it. That's the quickest way to set one of these bucks off and just make them leave. So that's just my theory, and it's worked for me, and so that's what we're going to do. So this phase stuff, this is our first year using it. So far we're really impressed with it. JJ Dukart got a hold of us, and him and Mike, and they wanted us to try it. He said, man, I think you guys as Whitetail Edge would be great people to use this product. We want you to test it. We believe in it. So far I'm impressed. I mean, I really love the field foam, which we'll show you here later on when we do some hunting and stuff, but it's awesome stuff, so pretty excited. So Andy and Janice, they're the owners of Black Widow Deer Lures, and they come in this year to hunt with me for the first time ever. It's a little bit hot, a little bit warm out. Deer movement hasn't been the greatest. Nevertheless, Andy's been a sponsor of our show from year number one. Black Widow Deer Lures and I have developed a great relationship. That whole relationship started thanks to, Travis Hake, who used to be on our show. Travis is the one that introduced me to Andy, and I'm very thankful for that. Andy and Janice are great people. They're more like family to us now than they are a sponsor or a company, that we deal with. We invited Andy up, and him and Tanner are hunting some deer that we've got picked out. And man, these deer just are not. Andy passed up some smaller bucks and different things like that, but we just didn't have a great hunt. It just didn't work out, but that's deer hunting. Not every time are you going to kill a deer. But it was good to spend some time with Andy, and just to get to visit about business and just different things like that, and friendships. Again, deer hunting is more about camaraderie at times than it is just always about killing. So keep that in mind and keep it fun. Now we're going to follow along with my son Briar. Briar really worked hard this past year, helping me run trail cameras, putting in food plots. Briar's passed up a lot of nice deer over the years because I've just never been the kind of dad that felt like that I should just throw my kid on a big deer and let him kill it. Mine has always been I want him to understand and earn his deer hunts. I want him to work for it. I want him to realize that, you just don't go sit out by a tree anywhere in the woods and you're going to shoot a deer every time, because it doesn't work that way. Whether it's a doe, a buck, or whatever you're after, I want him to know that there's more to it. With all the work that he was putting in, this year was his turn to kill a really good deer.
My name is Briar and I'm 11 years old. This year I earned my way up because I was hanging tree stands with my dad and doing food plots and hanging up Spartan cameras. I was very excited about this one spot because we put up a food plot in a Redneck Blind, and I just had a feeling that we would shoot a big buck there. The Redneck Blind was good that evening because I had enough space to get my crossbow out in time and be able to make a good shot. Well, there was this other little buck that we had in the food plot that evening, and we saw him look to the right a lot, and he just kind of wandered off to the left because he knew that a big one was coming. And when I saw that, I told Tanner, I was like, there's one coming. He just started working his way over, and I was very nervous when I saw him because he was a big deer, and we got Spartan camera pictures like 2 days prior before that, and I was just very nervous, and I knew I could get a good shot on him. Oh my gosh. Just let it. Giant. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Just a little bit back. Oh, he's giant. Me at least. That's a good deer for anybody. I think I deserve a drop. Just a little back. He's gonna need some time. Is that your biggest buck or what? That deer's still sitting right. Oh yeah. That other buck's coming back. Oh, that. My knees are shaking. So I hit him a little bit back. Yeah, you hit him just a little bit back. Dad's gonna be so happy. I could tell there was gonna be a lot bigger buck because he kept he was peeking all the time. That deer's still there. Me and Tanner watched the footage a little after getting out of the blind, and we saw that it was a little back, so we just decided to call my dad and just said we're just going to come back instead of looking at for that night.
Did you really?
Yes, giant. I just shot a giant deer.
Awesome, buddy.
said he shot a giant. It's not the one that came in first?
No, not that one. Another one.
Sweet. I knew you was gonna get one.
I hit it a little back though.
Okay.
Good job, buddy. You already riding around on your thing? So, was it a good one? Is it the one I sent the pics of? You think?
Wait,
the white
well,
one? It's kind of wide. I'm sure it is.
I don't know.
It's a giant buck for you. Your biggest, isn't it?
Well, I don't know if that's the one that you sent though, like before. I don't think it's that one.
You don't?
I just have to see the.
Well, we'll watch the footage and see.
Is it the same deer?
Ciao, buddy. That's a good deer for you. That's a good deer for anybody.
I shot it.
Oh yeah, that's a good deer. Been getting pics in for a little while. He's all used to the redneck. Oh yeah, he's way back. We need to definitely give him some time. Big time. He'll die. He's dead, but
I like how he's walking.
he might be dead now. But we don't want to push that deer. There's the Spartan.
Well, we're in here this morning. Got Briar back. He shot that deer last night, and Tanner made the right move, you know, being camera guy. I wasn't with him. I was working and doing stuff, being that we were gone so long. But Tanner and Briar, they made the right move. They didn't even go look for the deer, nothing. They knew that the hit was back, and they just backed out of the blind once they got time, let things settle down. They just sneaked out the back door and were gone. So the deer looked really hurt. We know it was back, but I don't think he can hold that all night. And it got really cold last night. It got down to like 26 degrees. So hopefully he just went in here a little ways, laid down, stiffened up, and he'll be there. To me, it looked like he was actually going to die last night within an hour, but we just want to be safe, because the way I look at it, if they're already dead, they'll be dead again, you know, in the morning. So no sense in pushing them, because if you go in and bump them, they're gone. Or it makes your job a heck of a lot harder.
Glad we backed out last night, because we saw that he bedded like 3 times, and then it wasn't that much longer after we found him in his next bedding area. He's right there.
He is. So I'm just going to warn everybody, Briar doesn't like the camera. He has a hard time getting excited. So he didn't sleep a wink last night, trust me. Dude, this is a great buck. You worked for this one this year, doing food plots and mowing and practicing. You've earned it though. I mean, I've made you pass big deer in the past, haven't I? And you're like, when am I gonna get to shoot a big deer, Dad? Finally, this was your year, huh? But it was a good thing we backed out. You know, Tanner and Briar did. We come home, looked at the footage, and we just said, you know what, we're gonna let him lay all night. And it's a good thing we did, because come in here, found spots of blood. I mean, it took a little while to get finding the spots, but we didn't go much more than 200 yards, and here he is. So if we'd have kept pushing him, he might have went a mile. You just don't know, man. I never found him ever, because he wasn't bleeding good, because there was no exit hole.
This year I was very excited to shoot that deer, because I was hanging tree stands with my dad, putting up cameras, and it just felt right when I shot that deer, because all the work paid off, that I could shoot a bigger deer.
Last night I shot the biggest buck ever. Came back 8 o'clock this morning and found him, and here he is.
Are you pretty excited?
Yes.
It's a big deer for an 11-year-old boy. But you've earned it. He's been working his butt off this summer, helping do food plots and helping me and Wyatt. He's been on the tractor himself, doing rototilling. He's been doing it all.
I really like the ghillie blind because it has a lot of space. You can sneak into it in a food plot, and it blends in really well.
You know, the Redneck Blind just works so perfect for situations like this where you've got a young kid, or, you know, I've killed booners, and I've killed 2 or 3 booners out of a Redneck Blind, especially the ghillie blinds. That's our go-to ground blinds. We love them. They're so effective, you know, and we just love them blinds. Briar loves hunting out of the blinds, and my wife loves hunting out of the blinds, you know, and as we get older, a lot of people don't want to get into tree stands and things like that. It's more dangerous.
Pretty big, for me at least. Thank you for going on this journey with us. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Come back next week for the next episode of Whitetail Edge on Mossy Oak Go.